Imagine pulling your car over to the side of the road and just screaming so loudly that passing drivers start staring at you.
Like staring in absolute terror, basically.
Right. And you aren't hurt. You aren't in danger. You've just received a phone call that is about to change the entire trajectory of your life.
It's the moment every actor waits for, really.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that is exactly what happened to a 44-year-old Welsh actor named Owain Rhys Davies. But to understand why that moment mattered so much and, why his story feels so vital right now, we have to look at the massive shockwaves that are currently ripping through the entertainment community.
Yeah, the reaction has been, well, it's been staggering.
It really has. On May 27th, 2026, Owain passed away, and the outpouring has just been incredible. So welcome to today's deep dive. We have a massive stack of sources in front of us today, right?
Oh, yeah. We've got reports from TMZ, The Independent, some really highly detailed theater blogs, and just a massive outpouring from the Twin Peaks fandom.
Yeah. And our mission today is to piece together not just the resume of this beloved working actor, but really the mechanics of the hidden ecosystem he occupied.
It is a fascinating ecosystem to study, too. I mean, when a public figure passes away, you generally expect a very sanitized, predictable sequence of public relations responses.
The Standard Notes app apology or tribute, right?
Exactly. But the sheer gravity of the grief we are seeing here breaks that mold entirely. It forces us to examine the currency of reputation in an industry that we, usually associate with superficiality.
Okay, let's unpack this because I want to start with the immediate aftermath. The language surrounding his passing has been incredibly tough for people to parse.
It has. It really has.
When someone dies at 44, the public immediately wants to know the why and the how, right? And the family, specifically his father, Conway, and his brother, Rhodri, released a statement saying Owain passed suddenly, naturally, and peacefully.
Right, which sounds definitive.
But then, in that very same paragraph, Rhodri mentioned there are questions that remain unanswered regarding the circumstances of his death.
Yeah.
And if you're just scrolling Twitter, it is so easy to see those phrases as totally contradictory. Like, which is it?
They do appear at odds, definitely, if you treat a grieving family's statement like a polished press release. The public sees unanswered questions and immediately assumes, I don't know, a conspiracy or some hidden scandal.
Totally. The internet loves a conspiracy.
Right. But what we are actually reading is the raw, unedited language of shock. I mean, this is a family processing a devastating, compounded reality in real time.
Because of his mother, right.
Exactly. It is crucial to note that Owain's mother, Helen, had just passed away in May of 2021.
Wow.
So you have a father and brother navigating this immense secondary wave of grief under the blinding glare of the public eye. The contradiction in their wording isn't a mystery to be solved. It is just the chaotic sound of sudden loss.
Man, that reframes it completely.
Yeah.
And it pushes back on this modern obsession we all have, right? It's like we always want the final page of a mystery novel when a celebrity dies. We want the twist ending.
We want all the neat details.
Yeah. But looking through these sources, the real story is in the chapters that came before. In Rhodri's statement, he emphasized that Owain had more than one family.
Mm-hmm.
He was talking about these extraordinary bonds Owain built with colleagues. And, I mean, the tributes absolutely back that up.
Oh, the tributes are incredible.
Aisling Bea, the comedian, she called them a big, glittering Welsh ball of light. And she shared these memories of roaming West Hollywood in their early 30s, just drinking and dreaming.
I love that phrase, glittering Welsh ball of light.
It's so evocative.
Yeah.
And then Joanne Froggatt from Downton Abbey was completely devastated. She wrote about his joy and talent and just wishing for one more hug.
And you also have Ruth Connell from Supernatural. She specifically pointed to his enormous heart as his most defining trait. And if we connect this to the bigger picture, these are not vetted condolences written by a publicist. They are gut-wrenching personal cries of grief from highly successful people across vastly different corners of the industry.
See, here's where I get hung up, though.
Yeah.
It's easy to be loved and build a family when you stay in one theater troupe or, work in the same office for 20 years.
Yeah.
But Owain was bouncing around constantly.
Very transient, yeah.
Right. So how do you build family-level loyalty when you are essentially a transient hired gun moving from set to set?
Well, you have to look at the unique pressures of the working actor's daily life. It is a highly nomadic, deeply vulnerable existence.
Because of the travel.
The travel, yes, but also you are thrown into high-stakes, emotionally demanding situations with complete strangers, and you're asked to be incredibly intimate with them almost instantly.
Oh, I see what you mean.
Yeah, like you might be crying in a scene with someone you met 3 hours ago.
That is so weird to think about.
It's wild. But because of that forced, rapid vulnerability, your network of peers becomes your surrogate family. In that environment, your reputation is your survival. Generosity and simple kindness become the actual currency of that world.
So it's less about your resume and more about who you are in the green room.
Exactly. So when actors from Disney blockbusters and small indie films are all echoing the exact same sentiment about Owain's character, it tells you that his currency in that hidden economy was just absolute gold.
That makes me want to look at his actual trajectory, because his resume is dizzying. I really want to figure out how someone even builds a career that diverse.
Let's do it.
So he was born in Cardiff in 1982, raised in St. Clears, Carmarthenshire, and his training was incredibly intense. He starts at the Liverpool Institute for Performing Arts, which is Paul McCartney's prestigious school.
Yeah, IWORIA, very hard to get into.
Then he goes to the American Academy of Dramatic Arts in New York.
Also very intense.
But then, and this is the part that surprised me, he studies at the Groundlings in Los Angeles.
The sketch comedy school.
Yeah. Why would a classically trained British dramatic actor need to go do sketch comedy and improv at the Groundlings?
It is actually a brilliant combination. British classical training gives you incredible vocal control, physical discipline, and a deep understanding of text.
Sure, Shakespeare and all that.
Exactly. But the Groundlings is the premier institution for thinking on your feet. Improv isn't just about being funny, it is the science of active listening.
Oh, that's interesting.
Right. It teaches you how to accept whatever bizarre scenario your scene partner throws at you and how to recover instantly when something goes wrong. When you combine the rigid discipline of classical theater with the chaotic adaptability of improv, you create an actor who is virtually bulletproof on set.
And you see that exact bulletproof adaptability in his stage career.
Yeah.
I mean, he starts in 2003 in Mamma Mia at the Prince Edward Theatre.
A huge production.
Right. Then he covers The Lion and the Wizard of Oz at the London Palladium. He tours in The Lion King playing Ed, Zazu, and Tummin. But I want to pause on the theater work for a second because the sources mentioned he did a lot of swing and understudy work early on.
Yes, the swing roles.
I think most people, myself included, assume an understudy just sits backstage playing solitaire until the lead actor gets sick.
Yeah.
What is the actual mechanism of being a swing?
Oh, it is arguably the most difficult job in live theater.
Really?
Oh, absolutely. A swing isn't just covering one role. They're responsible for memorizing multiple tracks or roles within an ensemble. If you are covering 5 different characters, you have to know 5 different sets of harmonies, 5 different choreographies, and 5 different blocking patterns.
That sounds like a nightmare.
It's an immense mental load. You might arrive at the theater at 6:00 p.m., find out 2 people are sick, and suddenly you have to perform a hybrid of 2 different tracks.
Wait, at the same time?
Yeah. You might even have to step into a role mid-performance if someone gets injured on stage. And crucially, a swing gets none of the glory. Your entire job is to ensure the machinery of the show doesn't break down and to make the principal actors look good.
Okay, so it's basically like being an emotional session musician.
I like that.
You can drop into any band, instantly read the room, play the exact complex notes needed to make the lead singer shine, and then just pack up your instrument without ever demanding your name be on the album cover.
That is a perfect analogy, and that is exactly why stage actors with extensive swing experience make the best character actors on screen. They have a complete lack of ego. They've been trained to their absolute bones to serve the story rather than demanding the spotlight.
But wait, isn't Hollywood famous for rewarding massive egos? I mean, we constantly hear stories about A-listers demanding more lines or better lighting or refusing to come out of their trailers.
Oh, all the time.
So how does a guy with zero ego actually survive, let alone thrive, in an environment that seems to run on narcissism?
Because while the public faces of Hollywood might be driven by ego, the machinery of Hollywood is driven by directors and casting directors who are desperate for session musicians.
Ah, they need people who actually do the work.
Exactly. Directors are managing millions of dollars, tight schedules, and 100 different moving parts. The last thing they want is an actor who is going to argue about their motivation and slow down the day.
They just need you to hit your mark.
They want someone who hits their mark, delivers the goods, adapts to chaotic changes without complaining, and elevates the material. That is how Owain could jump from playing William Shakespeare in Something Rotten on stage to a drag queen named Candace in a 2024 musical called Grinder Helpdesk.
The range is just unbelievable.
And then immediately go to a gritty Amazon Prime horror film called A Serial Killer's Guide to Life.
Okay, that makes so much sense. If you are on an indie horror set, things are going to go wrong.
Always.
The fake blood isn't working, the lighting is weird, you're losing daylight. The director needs someone with groundlings improv training to just roll with the punches.
Precisely. He could apply that foundational skill of reading the room to absolutely any genre.
Okay, let's take that concept of serving the story and apply it to the single role that brought him the most global recognition. Because here's where it gets really interesting. If you want a surreal, massive stage that demands you serve the story without asking questions, you cannot get much bigger than David Lynch's 2017 revival Twin Peaks, The Return.
No, you really can't.
Owain was cast as FBI agent Wilson, and he appeared in parts 14, 15, and 16. But the tension in the casting process is wild.
The waiting period, right?
Yes. According to a deep dive from a Twin Peaks blog, Owain met with the legendary casting director Joanne Froggatt for lunch. She took a couple of Polaroids of him, and then total silence.
Just nothing.
7 months went by without a single word.
7 months in the entertainment industry is an eternity. It is enough time to completely give up on a project or, even question your entire career path.
Oh, for you listening, if you've ever waited a week to hear back from a job interview, multiply that anxiety by about 30. It's like Schrodinger's job.
That's a great way to put it.
Right. For over half a year, he simultaneously possessed the biggest break of his life and had been completely rejected. He literally assumed the ship had sailed.
Which is a fair assumption after 7 months.
Totally. And then out of nowhere, his agent calls him while he is driving. And that brings us back to the screaming in the car. He was so shocked, he nearly crashed, pulled over, and just let out this primal scream of joy.
But the hardest part of that joy must have been the ironclad non-disclosure agreements.
Oh my gosh, yes. He couldn't say a word.
The secrecy surrounding Twin Peaks. The return was unprecedented. Scripts were shredded daily, and actors only received the pages for their specific scenes.
He couldn't even tell his own dad or his brother Rhodri, and they were massive fans of the original 90s show.
Oh, that must have been torture.
Right. He had to sit across the dinner table from them and pretend absolutely nothing was happening. And the funny thing is, Owain actually missed the original run of the show because he was too young.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but he had binged it all in college on VHS tapes he borrowed from a friend back at Labia. So once he finally got the part and the NDA was signed, he locked himself in his house for 3 weeks straight, just re-binging the entire original series to prepare.
That is the dedication of a true fan who suddenly finds themselves invited into the mythology they revere. But we have to consider the immense psychological pressure of that moment.
It's massive.
You are stepping onto a set populated by iconic characters under the direction of an auteur known for highly abstract, surreal work.
I would be absolutely paralyzed by that. I mean, he filmed his first scenes outside the Joneses' home and then at the FBI Las Vegas office set. How do you step onto a set run by an intimidating surrealist genius and actually manage to perform?
The answer gives us a fascinating look into Owain's experience, but also an incredible insight into leadership. What's fascinating here is that Owain later described David Lynch not as a tyrant, but as his safety net.
A safety net.
Yes. He said Lynch walked right up to him on day one, spoke to him warmly like they had been friends for years, and instantly, all of Owain's panic just melted away. He specifically noted how rare that was in a business defined by egos.
That is a wild leadership insight.
Yeah.
I think we often assume that true creative genius requires, ruling by fear or creating a high-stress crucible.
Right, the tortured artist trope.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But what Lynch did was remove the anxiety so his team could actually do the work they were hired to do.
That is exactly the takeaway. The best directors, much like the best CEOs or managers in any field, cultivate relaxed, ego-free environments. They have a clear vision, so there is no chaotic power struggle happening on the floor.
Everyone just knows their job.
Yeah. And when an actor like Owain, who is already disciplined, who already operates like an egoless session musician, steps into an environment where the leader removes the fear of failure, the talent thrives instantly. The friction is just gone.
And it clearly worked because his presence in those episodes is so incredibly memorable. But the choices Owain made after Twin Peaks might be the most revealing part of his entire story.
I agree completely.
In an industry that is pathologically obsessed with youth, visibility, and staying on camera to maintain your relevance, Owain did something fascinating. In 2020, he effectively retired from screen acting.
Which is virtually unheard of.
Right. His last credited television role was playing Alexander Hamilton in The Real Founding Fathers of America. Why would a working actor voluntarily walk away from the camera just as his profile is rising?
Because it challenges our default definition of success. We are culturally conditioned to view an artist's career as a ladder. Stage work is the bottom rung where you pay your dues. Television is the middle rung. Feature films are the top.
And you just keep climbing.
We assume the goal is always to climb. But Owain's trajectory proves that for some artists, fulfillment isn't defined by their IMDb ranking. He didn't stop working. He just pivoted to mediums that offered a different kind of creative satisfaction.
He went right back to his roots. He started directing, actually winning an LA Stage Award for the UMPO Summer Blockbuster.
Which is a huge achievement.
Yeah, and he moved heavily into voiceover work, starring in Travis Beacham's highly acclaimed Audible series, Impact Winter. And then he went right back to the grueling grind of live theater. He recently finished a sold-out run of the complete works of Shakespeare abridged in Salzburg, Austria.
Think about the physical and mental demands of performing condensed Shakespeare in Austria compared to the pampered environment of a Hollywood television set.
It's night and day.
He chose the sweat. He chose the immediate tactile connection with a live audience over the delayed gratification of a screen performance. Whether he was standing in front of David Lynch's camera or running around the stage in Salzburg, the core drive was identical, the pure love of the craft.
The joy of the work itself, and that prioritization of craft over fame, seems to bleed directly into his personal life, which circles us right back to those massive outpourings of grief from his peers.
It all connects back to his character.
It really does. There is a story from actor Peter Caulfield that really anchors this for me. Caulfield talked about trying to make it in Los Angeles, and Owain just letting him stay at his place.
Just opening his doors.
Literally putting a roof over a fellow actor's head. And then you see the Welsh National Theatre releasing an official statement honoring his massive contribution to the cultural life of Wales. He wasn't just Hollywood's loss, he was his homeland's loss.
It proves that he never allowed the transient nomadic nature of his career to strip away his groundedness. In an industry that actively encourages you to be selfish and hoard your resources, he remained deeply generous.
So what does this all mean? Bringing all these threads together, we're looking at the sudden, tragic loss of Owain Rhys Davies at just 44 years old. But through the lens of all these sources, his legacy emerges as an absolute masterclass in living a life of passion and intense versatility.
Truly a masterclass.
He was the classical dramatic actor who learned improv. He was the swing who held the show together from the shadows. He was the emotional session musician who could elevate an indie horror film or a David Lynch masterpiece. And above all, he was the big, glittering Welsh ball of light that his friends remember.
It is a remarkable footprint to leave behind, and it leaves us with a final thought to mull over, one that applies far beyond the borders of Hollywood.
I'd love to hear it.
Well, Owain Rhys Davies managed to touch hundreds of lives and build a globe-trotting career, not by ruthlessly elbowing his way to superstar status, but by being the ultimate collaborator. It raises an important question for all of us listening, no matter what office, hospital, or classroom we work in.
Which is?
When we eventually leave our own stage, will we be remembered more for the impressive titles listed on our resumes or for the people we put up in LA and made feel safe along the way?
That is the real legacy, isn't it? The chapters we write with the people around us long before we ever reach the final page. Thank you for joining us on this deep dive into the extraordinary life of Owain Rhys Davies. Keep exploring, take care of yourselves, and we will catch you next time.